My girlfriend dumped me, then her mother knocked and said, "You were never hers to lose." The night she left, something inside me didn't just break, it vanished. I remember standing in the quiet aftermath, staring at the closed door like it might open again if I just waited long enough. Her words still echoed in my ears, cold and final, like a sentence passed without trial. She said she didn't love me anymore. No hesitation, no tears. Just a simple ending to something I had built my entire world around. Before we go any further, if you believe in kindness, in second chances, and in love that finds its way back when everything seems lost, take a moment to like this video, share it, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel. Your support means more than you know. I didn't chase her when she left. Not because I didn't want to, but because something in her eyes told me I already had. For months, maybe years. The house felt unfamiliar that night. The same walls, the same furniture, but everything carried a hollow silence that pressed against my chest. I sat on the edge of the couch where we had once laughed over nothing, where her head used to rest on my shoulder, where we had planned a future that suddenly felt like it belonged to someone else. I didn't sleep. Instead, I replayed every moment, searching for the exact point where things began to fall apart. Was it when I got too busy with work? When I stopped noticing the little things? Or maybe when she stopped telling me what was wrong? Morning came, but it didn't bring clarity. Just exhaustion. Days turned into weeks and I became a stranger to myself. I stopped answering calls. I avoided friends. Even my own reflection felt like a reminder of failure. The man staring back at me looked tired, older, and empty in a way I couldn't explain. I tried to move on the way people always say you should. I deleted her photos. Packed away the memories, forced myself to go out, to pretend I was okay. But healing doesn't happen just because you decide it should. It happens when you're ready, and I wasn't. Every corner of my life reminded me of her. The coffee mug she used every morning. The playlist we used to listen to on long drives. Even the silence felt like it carried her name. And then one evening, just as the sun dipped below the horizon and the sky turned that soft shade of gold we used to love, there was a knock on my door. I wasn't expecting anyone. For a moment I froze. My heart raced in a way I hadn't felt since she left. A small, foolish part of me hoped it was her, that she had come back, that everything had been a mistake. But when I opened the door, it wasn't her, it was her mother. She stood there quietly, her presence calm but heavy with something I couldn't quite understand. She had always been kind to me, always treated me like more than just her daughter's boyfriend. But seeing her there, unannounced, felt strange, almost unreal. I didn't know what to say, so I stepped aside and let her in. She looked around the house slowly, as if she could still see the version of us that used to live there. Then she turned to me, her eyes filled with something deeper than sympathy. Something like truth. She didn't sit right away. She didn't offer small talk. Instead, she looked at me in a way that made me feel seen, in a way no one had since everything fell apart. And then she said the words that would change everything. She told me that I was never hers to lose. At first, I didn't understand. The sentence hung in the air, confusing and almost cruel in its simplicity. I had loved her daughter with everything I had. I had given years of my life, my heart, my future. How could I not be hers? But her mother's expression didn't change. She wasn't being harsh. She was being honest. She told me that love isn't possession, that sometimes we hold on so tightly to someone that we forget they were never something we could own. And when they leave, it doesn't mean we've lost. It means they were never truly ours to begin with. Those words hit harder than the breakup itself, because deep down, I knew she was right. I had built my life around her, shaped my happiness around her presence, and somewhere along the way, I forgot to build a life that was mine. Her leaving didn't take my life away. It revealed that I had stopped living my own. That night after her mother left, I didn't cry, not because I wasn't hurting, but because something inside me shifted. For the first time since the breakup, I wasn't asking why she left. I was asking who I had become. The following days felt different. The pain didn't disappear, but it changed. It wasn't suffocating anymore. It was quieter, more reflective. I started doing small things I hadn't done in a long time. I went for walks without my phone. I sat in silence without trying to fill it. I revisited old hobbies I had abandoned. At first, everything felt forced, like I was pretending to be someone else. But slowly, it began to feel real. I started noticing the world again, the way the morning light filled the room. The sound of laughter in the distance, the feeling of breathing without a weight on my chest. I wasn't healed, but I was healing. Weeks turned into months, and the man in the mirror began to change. Not drastically, not overnight, but enough for me to recognize him again. I started reconnecting with people, not because I needed distraction, but because I wanted connection. Real, honest connection that didn't depend on fear of losing someone. And then one day, I realized something that both scared and comforted me. I wasn't waiting for her anymore. Her memory was still there, but it no longer controlled me. It became a chapter, not the entire story. And strangely enough, I felt grateful, not for the pain, but for what it taught me, that love should never cost you yourself, that losing someone doesn't mean losing your worth, and that sometimes the people who leave are not the ones who break you. They're the ones who show you how to rebuild. Before we reach the end of this story, I want you to pause for a moment. If something in this journey touched your heart, if you've ever felt this kind of loss or found strength in moving forward, please leave a comment right now and share your experience. Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear. Life didn't suddenly become perfect after that. There were still days when memories came rushing back. Days when I wondered what could have been. But those moments didn't define me anymore. They passed, just like everything else. And one quiet evening, standing by that same door where everything once ended, I realized something beautiful. The knock that changed my life wasn't the one I was hoping for. It was the one I never expected. Because sometimes, closure doesn't come from the person who left. It comes from understanding why they had to. And in that understanding, you find yourself again. If this story moved you even a little, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And tell me in the comments, which country are you watching this story from? I'd truly love to know how far this message has reached.